This is Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast episode number 116. Today we are talking about the power of vision. Don't miss this one. Welcome back to Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast. This is the only podcast that shows you how to leverage polarity intelligence, an essential competency for healthcare leaders, and the missing logic in healthcare, so you can create healthy, healing organizations and become a thriving, resilient, and unstoppable healthcare leader.
We are your hosts, Tracy Christofferson and Michelle Trosett. We've been best friends and colleagues for over 30 years. And during that time, we coached healthcare leaders across North America around how to create healthy, healing organizations.
Today, we coach healthcare leaders and leadership teams to live thriving, resilient, and balanced lives, combat burnout, and create the best places to give and receive care.
This podcast is for the unsung hero of healthcare, the healthcare leader. We want you to know we see you and we'll be here for you each week. In this podcast, we're going to challenge healthcare's industry norms, flip limiting beliefs, and share proven strategies so you can be your best self at work and at home, live and lead intentionally, and experience well-being and joy.
We are glad you are here and look forward to sharing the journey with you. If you aren't totally convinced this podcast is for you, just listen to a few episodes and convince yourself. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast, and we are going to be talking about vision today.
Ooh, I got the vision. We wouldn't be here without a vision.
We wouldn't. We've been visioning for a long, long time.
We have. It's been fun. I love visioning.
I do too.
Right, because the sky's the limit.
You can just put it out there, you know?
Yeah. You can have whatever you want in your vision. Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. We really enjoy it. We get energized by it. And
it's motivating.
It really is.
Yeah. We had a vision to be on YouTube. Here we are.
Here we are. We had a vision to have a podcast studio. Here we are.
And we were visioning. We had a legacy plan for a number of years that we worked on. Every year we had a vision, our purpose, our mission, the things that we were taking, actions we were taking to make it all come true.
Yep. We actually have a legacy books with
pictures,
things we're going to be talking about today. So we have a lot of experience with vision. We help teams vision. We've helped professional organizations vision.
My husband and I visioned that by the time our youngest had graduated from high school, we'd be living in Arizona, and it happened.
It happened.
I had a 5-year vision, and 3 months before he graduated, he got a call and said, "Would you like to come work for us here in Arizona?" Heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So having vision is very, very important.
It is.
It helps you get places, do things.
Yep. So we're going to talk about that today. Tips on creating a vision, right?
We are. We're going to talk about tips on creating a vision. And we just really believe as healthcare leaders, it is not possible to be thriving, resilient, unstoppable if you don't have a vision for it. So it really is an important step on your journey. Yeah. So if you desire to be that kind of a leader, you have to know where you want to go in life. That's just really, really important.
Why would you even want to be thriving, resilient, and unstoppable if you didn't have a vision for something bigger than where you are?
And that also means professionally, but also personally. You have to look at it, what do you want for both parts of your life?
Yep.
And we also believe that, having that clear vision, it's just that critical step onto being a true leader. And you'll never be able to be a true leader, like a true thriving, resilient, unstoppable leader, if you can't, if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah. You got to know where you're headed. It's kind of like, getting in the car and wandering around. You got to know where you're going, right? So,
yeah.
Exactly. And how you're going to use those talents when you're thriving, resilient, and unstoppable.
That's exactly right.
Right. So, but there's like 3 things that can get in your way of having that vision for your life. And, and again, both personally and professionally. Mm-hmm. So the first is having limiting beliefs about visioning. So some of you might be going, "Oh man, I'm just going to turn this off because this visioning stuff is just too hard. It's woo-woo." Hang on. keep listening, okay? Keep listening because that's a limiting belief.
Mm-hmm.
The other is that you could be circumstance driven, meaning you're letting everything in your external world and situations rule, like where you are, and even that you could even have a vision of something different. You could be thinking, I don't have time to vision. Time is just a circumstance, right? It's just it's a limiting circumstance in your life.
It is.
You will make time for anything that's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
You will. And the third is if you have given away your personal power. So here, right, we all have the power to create a vision, whether it's for our personal life, our professional life, our teams, to create a vision, to draw them, to help motivate them, to pull them forward. And, if you have, if you really give your power away, then you're saying that's somebody else's job to create the vision.
That's not fun.
Let the other leaders create the vision, right? Like will just wait for them to do it. And no, you have the power to create a vision for your team, for your family, for anybody, anything that you want.
Yeah.
Really, right? And so you want to stand in your power, not give it away.
Absolutely. So when you let these 3 elements interfere with your vision, this is what can happen. You regret living your life and not having it end up the way you thought it would be, right? So a lot of regrets can happen when you don't set that intention and set the vision. And you keep missing out on growth opportunities for yourself, again, because you don't really have a vision of where you want to be. So you could be missing out left and right of things you could be taking advantage of just because you don't have that vision in front of you. And as a leader, your team can be really frustrated because there is a lack of vision. Therefore, there's a lack of direction. And it can start to feel like our efforts are just in vain here. Like, where are we going? What's the point?
That's right. What's the point?
What's the point?
Oh, my gosh.
So there is much significance about having a vision in your life. And I always tell my kids and my husband, why wouldn't you have it? Like, if all this good stuff can happen, I don't get why people don't vision.
Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to understand, but sometimes I think they just don't know how to even get started.
Oh, that's so true.
Right? If you've not done it before, it can seem overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're circumstance driven, you're like, I think, I've got time for that, right?
Those limiting beliefs again.
Yeah, exactly. So one mistake leaders can make is they can get out of alignment with their true desires. If you don't know where you're headed, any road's going to do, right? So you can get really out of alignment with what really matters to you and where you really want to be. And that can happen over time, very slowly. And you're not even aware that all of a sudden you're on the road to nowhere.
You drift. You start to drift.
It's drifting. It is.
It is.
And, that can lead to feeling frustrated, conflicted. With your current situation, you might find yourself saying to yourself, how did I get here?
Yeah.
How did this happen? Right. Or this is just the way it is.
Or I never thought I'd end up like this.
Yeah. I better just stay here because it's safe and secure. And right. It's just easier. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Nothing needs to change right now, later, and then you're 70, right? Or, and it can be hard to dream big. It can, when you're in the midst of the pandemic, it's hard to see beyond where you are sometimes when there's a crisis or the situation is extreme or, you're experiencing kind of that, that trauma or drama in the moment. And you have a sense of loyalty to the people that you serve, I mean, we've experienced that. Even when we were visioning for our life, took us a long time to walk away from something that had been a part of the fabric of our lives, both personally and professionally, for over 20 years. It took a long time to make that decision, to make those moves because of our commitment to what they were doing and our relationship with the people. So, we get it. We can feel the tug, and that can be hard to dream beyond where you are when you've got that loyalty, that connection.
It is. But here's the truth of it. Your outer world won't change until your inner world changes first. And that really means taking the time, giving yourself a gift of just stopping and intentionally dreaming and thinking about what you really want. What is your true heart's desire? And we love coaching healthcare leaders on this and helping them. It's not to say they haven't had visions themselves, but I think what our experience has been, especially in the last 16 months, is just helping people realign to what their vision are, or in some cases, even to really kickstart it. Depends on where people are at.
Exactly. That's really fun. And I'm just going to say something that might sound harsh, but some of you might be thinking, I don't know what my vision is, but that's a lazy response. It is. It's lazy. You do know. You just have to get quiet. Like Michelle said, pause and dig deep, right? Because you really do know deep inside what you want. And you know kind of what you'd like to have your life be like. You just have put it, you've just covered it up, right? And you got to kind of reveal it, I think.
Good point.
Because, if you think about how many times you said, I don't really know. Well, you do. You just start avoiding it. That's just the truth. I don't know. Harsh as that may be.
We bring the truth, folks.
Well, we do, because that's what coaches do, right? You have to help people see those things inside themselves. And, and actually we had somebody in our coaching program. Well, this is somebody that's been through our coaching program. They're a part of our quarter support group. And so we meet with them every week, right? And, we had somebody who just last night, we were celebrating them because of this, shift in their lives. And you just have to know, they started out 6 months ago, kind of in a depressed state. They were really down. They were disheartened with where they were in their work. They'd been in a place for 10 years, and they were really struggling with just the situation they found themselves in, kind of being a little bit of a victim, a little bit, and just unable to see beyond it. Just didn't have a vision for beyond that, right? And then we did some coaching and some, some conversations, right, about helping the importance of this, the importance of vision, and that you can have a vision anytime, right? You just can start anywhere. And she just kind of started to see that, wait a minute, I'm stopping myself. There are other possibilities out there. I don't have to stay where I'm at. And she created this new kind of vision for her life, which really increased her energy, gave her she saw the possibilities, right? And it just totally flipped where she was, who she was. She made some, because she started to create a vision of her work in a whole different way. She didn't have a place. She didn't have anything specific. She just knew what she wanted to be experiencing in the later years of her career and what she wanted to contribute and how she wanted to contribute and what she was passionate about. And she kind of got reconnected with that and got this vision for delivering, her gifts in a different way, in whatever way would come to her. And it did. And a way came to her.
It did.
An opportunity showed up as soon as she could clear away the fog and see what she really wanted. And then using that vision as a guiding post, right? Just because an opportunity shows up doesn't mean it's the right opportunity, but she was clear on how she wanted to move forward, what was important to her, what that kind of looked and felt like for her. And lo and behold, she got an offer she's thrilled with, and life is going to be a whole different game for her. So because she started with, it was possible, and she could see herself in a different way.
Yeah. It's so powerful when you can vision.
Yeah, she got reconnected with her true desires.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It was lovely.
All right, we are about halfway through this episode of Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast. And we want to take a moment to share that we are very excited about a new program we've released. Let's face it, you and your teams have been through some incredibly stressful times, and it's challenging to know how to support the team and still take care of yourself in the process. We help healthcare leaders become thriving, resilient, and unstoppable leaders. We've recently created a new self-study program titled Caring for Others Without Neglecting You. In this self-study, you will begin to develop polarity intelligence to leverage the tension in your life and create your own personalized strategy for balancing caring for your team and you. Go over to missinglogic.com/new-events to learn more and enroll today. So when we bring this out to healthcare leaders, it really comes through our dynamic balance effect framework and pillar number 3, personal alignment, because you have to be personally aligned with your vision. So first step is you got to know what it is. So we provide some pretty easy step-by-step processes on how to declare your vision. To Tracy's point earlier, some people may not even know where to start. And then we have a course in our coaching program called COVID and Beyond, Setting the Vision for Your Future, because we think this is a really great time, like many things in our world today, to reset and to look at your vision now going forward.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd just share a few tips that we coach on that we find very, very helpful when it comes to, setting a vision. And the first step is make a decision to set a vision.
Take the first step.
But really, for like so many of the things in life, it's just decide it's important that I have a vision. And then when you do it, it's so important that you kind of do it in a way that sets the mood. And you're really inviting in that space and that silence and that time for you to have it bubble up from inside, to have it emerge, and not to have any barriers, but just really think, what do I want? And what do I want in different dimensions of my life as well? And just let your imagination soar. That's really important. No bars back, just pfft.
Yeah.
If my life was perfect, what would it look like?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the thing is to write it down.
Yeah.
It's one thing to kind of sit and think about it, but when you commit it to paper, it becomes real. Mm-hmm. And I think that's it's so important, right? Just to write it down. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? There's no template for writing the perfect vision.
That's right.
Right. It's just kind of, sometimes you got to just let it free flow from you, right? Mm-hmm. You just sit in silence, ask the question, what is it that I really want? Be still, let it come to you, and just write whatever comes to you. Write down all the things that you think about with your family, that you think about in all the aspects, spiritually, vocationally, just whatever, all the different areas of your life. If it was perfect, what would it be, right? And just start writing. And then it'll kind of come together. It's a process, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the other thing that makes it real is when you share it with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So you can kind of like have written it down, done the exercise, but not really believe it. When you share it with somebody, you're saying, I believe this. I believe I can have this. Mm-hmm. And it makes it real, right? It makes it more real. And you start to commit with your heart to it because you're sharing it with somebody. So, it's a symbolic move to share your vision with somebody.
Yeah. Totally agree.
It's symbolic. It makes a difference. It may seem kind of fluffy, but it makes a difference. Just do it. Trust us. We know. Okay.
We know what we're talking about.
And then Michelle's very favorite is a bonus that we offer for our coaching clients, which is 101 wishes. And, this is like the cream of the cream. It's like the icing on the cake. And it is a way even to start. To get a vision is to start with wishes. So sometimes you start with just writing down your wishes, what you wish for.
Yeah.
Now, this is, something we have done every year for many years. We've taught other people to do it as well. And it is, there's nothing like declaring these are the 101 wishes I want for the year and then seeing them come true. Like, it's amazing what can happen. And some people struggle with this. They just can't get to the 101. Others, they can't turn it off. They've got 500, like they just can see everything as a wish, right? So, again, it's a personal thing. And, but it's a wonderful opportunity to just think boldly and to put forth anything that you want.
Yeah. I like to think it as a polarity. So we talk frequently about having structured goals and our metrics, which is really important for any leader, whether you're in your organization or, our business. That's really important. You have the vision and the wishes, they're like unstructured. You just write them down, just what comes to you. And like Tracy said, it's really exciting when they come true.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And we've had some come true. So,
Oh, yes.
hey, there you go. Right? There you go. I'm still waiting for some big ones. They'll come true. I'm just give them time. Give them time.
Yeah, but if they don't come true this year, they might come true next year.
I carry them over, man. You can carry them over.
Carry them over. Carry them
right.
over. All right. So let's talk about your call to action when it comes to, casting out that big vision for yourself. Well, reflect on your vision for both your, yourself professionally and personally, those two P words. Mm-hmm. And, they're more than goals. This is a true vision. So just let yourself free. Write it all down. Think about that future person that you want to be in life, all those domains that Tracy mentioned. And ask yourself, have you actually written your vision down? And if you haven't, we hope you leave this podcast and this YouTube episode and go do it. And then have you shared all our parts of your vision with those that matter most in your life and that are even part of your vision? Sometimes it's helped to clue them in.
Yeah. Hey, I got news for you. I got plans, baby.
Get on board.
That's right. That's right. I have to clue my husband in sometimes. I got plans. Here we go, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So Yogi Berra says you got to be careful if you don't know where you are going because you might not get there.
I just love that.
Right? So, it's true, right? If you don't, you got to know where you're headed, right? And if you're not clear in your vision, you're not personally aligned, you will not experience being a thriving, resilient, unstoppable leader because you got to have a vision for what that means to you. What does that look like to you?
Right.
So you got to have a vision even for that. You won't have it, right? If you don't have a vision. And most of all, you'll be missing out on what really is possible for your life and the legacy that you can lead, the real difference that you can make. You're putting limits on yourself by not seeing yourself in another place. And I think the one thing we know about polarities and about dynamic tension is that it's the difference between where you are and where you want to be. And that is what catapults you forward. It's your motivation. It's what drives you. And when you don't have a vision, there's no drive. Mm-hmm. There's no excitement. There's no tension to pull you forward or to move you in another way. And so
such a great point.
Then you settle and then life just becomes,
just happens.
Yeah. Then you get full of regret.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that.
And you're missing your legacy again.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just, close your eyes right now unless you're driving. Don't close your eyes if you're driving. But just, imagine what that feels like to be 100% aligned to your vision and what you want and just that incredible feeling. And imagine the expectancy. So part of this is, expecting it and just the joy that comes when you see your vision realized and check things off on your 101 wishes. And there's little clues. There's little clues that get dropped around you that it's coming. That's a whole other episode. But anyway, and imagine sharing that joy and celebrating with those around you that are part of your vision when you just see these things being realized. And it's just awesome. It's awesome.
It is. And when you're a true healthcare leader, you know how important this is.
Oh, yeah.
And you make the time for it. You prioritize it. And you know that you haven't even begun to live your best life yet because you've got a vision for an even better life than what you have right now. And they spent time flipping their limiting beliefs. Like, more often than not on our calls, people are like, oh, that's a limiting belief, right? They're clued in to the limiting beliefs that they have, and they have spent the time to course correct them, to flip them, and to focus on beliefs that are empowering and supportive. So they've moved away from visioning is too hard to visioning is easy, right? Mm-hmm. This is easy peasy, right?
Yep.
They've moved from visioning is too woo-woo to visioning is based on evidence, and there's proof that it really works.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of proof.
Exactly. They have flipped from I don't have time to vision to I don't have time not to vision. This is the most important thing I can do for myself. And they have flipped from visioning is somebody else's job and relying on that external vision from somebody else to visioning is my job and I own the future and I own the vision of my life and my team, like where I'm leading my team, right? And we like to say, I'm the CEO of my life.
That's right.
And nobody can own it like you can.
That's exactly right.
Nobody's going to do your push-ups for you either, right? So got to own the vision too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you the other reason why this just really struck us, this is so important, is just last night we had a member of our court of support that could not join because she had a colleague that passed away unexpectedly, and she was young, young as us. That's
very young.
That's very young. Very, very young. And anyway, she just sent us a note, and she just said, life is short. Life is short. Know where you want to go. Be grateful. Life is short. And we just couldn't agree with that more.
Yep. So have a vision.
Make the most of it. Make the most of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's our podcast for today. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. And we want to see a whole lot of visioning going on out there. And
go be the CEO of your life and create an amazing life.
Go do it.
Do it. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Stay safe and healthy.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast, now a top-rated podcast for healthcare leaders. Please share this podcast with other healthcare leaders and anyone else you think would benefit. We are certain that if you found value in it, they will too. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any episodes. And also, it would mean the world to us if you took a quick moment to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast player. It helps to get the word out about our podcast and incredible guests. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to watch our podcasts. You can also follow us on our Missing Logic social media channels, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Until next time.